I'd like to go ahead and take a second and clarify what I said in the last video. As I mentioned, I thought that Joe Rogan was thinking that video games were the cause of all the stuff that's happening in this world, the chaos, the mayhem, and that stuff. Apparently, that was just my opinion on what he was thinking, but no, it was. Video games are an addiction problem, and something just needs to be done about it. If you are addicted and you need something that you need to do to get yourself out of that, do something that you actually enjoy. Like, as I mentioned, board games are, positive. Get yourself into, like, a bowling team or, soccer teams, whatever. Do something that's enjoyable to you. Like, playing for a few hours of video games is obviously okay. But you need to have other stuff involved, too. Yeah, you can't just sit there and be a lazy couch potato and just play video games every, 24/7 without having anything else in your life. That's basically what Joe Rogan is saying. That he's not, literally trying to now tell you, okay, if you play video games and that stuff, then you're gonna do evil out in the world. The stuff. But, I mean, to be honest, I don't think he would be like those politicians out there. The politicians out there love this, you know, personalize video games and say, okay, so you play this, so you're gonna do this in the real world and that stuff. And we know how much, we know how much people love to put the blame on video games for the cause of all world's problems. That's That's pretty much what politicians like to do. And people are just, fired up about, Joe Rogan attacking gamers, which would be their thought, but Joe Rogan's speaking the truth about, what video games do. Alright, it shouldn't be like a big deal that should be like, taken, not personally attacking people, but it should be more in my opinion, it's more of a issue with the person themselves. But if you have an addiction problem, you need to get yourself, like, something that's good to do. Something that you enjoy. Something that is physical. Something that would get you motivated. And, you know, do something good with your time. Instead of sitting there with couch potato. I admit to myself that I too have that kind of a problem that Joe Rogan is explaining. And I admit that I too need to, you know, be, find something that is, find something that I find that is enjoyable. And me, I don't like to sit there and play video games 24/7. I've got other stuff that I like to do. Okay, I obviously like to play board games. I don't like to sit in front of a television every 24/7. Because I've got a lot of other stuff that I find enjoyable in my life. Yeah, back in back when I was younger, I didn't have all that time to sit in front of a television and play video games. And we all know what your parents said when you came home from school with homework. Your parents always said that you need to do your homework first before you play video games. And I could see where they were going when they said that. It's manage your times well. Your parents didn't want to see you fail school because of you always play your video games and refuse to do your homework that your teachers assigned you. And let's look at the result. You would have gone to school and you would have got like a bunch of F's, which wouldn't be good. But people are taking what Joe Rogan said and making a big deal out of it, that stuff. Joe Rogan knows that video games are a waste of your time. And he didn't mean if you play video games for just like a few hours and do something else, that's pretty much okay. Because you're just taking a few hours out of your time to, like, play video games. If you've got nothing else to do for the next few hours and that stuff, then you can be free to play video games for those few hours. I don't know why people like taking, what Joe Rogan said and, being personal about this and, making a big fuss over it, but you need to get over it and you just face reality of it. That they indeed waste your time and you need to do something that is more enjoyable. Like, take a karate class, for example, or, you know, well, a more, here is a, more, here's a better way to put it. If you don't, if all you do in your life is just play video games, and you don't have anything, and you don't do anything else in your life, and that stuff, I'm sorry to say that, but you have a sad life. Because literally what you do, if you're sitting there and all you do is play video games, like the only thing you do, then you obviously don't have a life. And you're just sitting there and you're wasting it. And well, you may as well just sit there and, accept the fact that you just want to just sit there and waste your life on playing video games. I too know that if I were to sit in front of a television all the time, or make sure that I had my Nintendo Switch charged with me all the time, then I would, realize that I have an addiction problem. And I know I would need to take care of this, like, right away. I just want to sit down there on the couch and say, oh, okay, I accept the fact. I just let video games just take over my brain, and accept the fact that I'm not gonna do anything about this. I'm just going to accept the fact that I'm addicted, and that's how I want to stay. Well, here's something else that I've realized. I don't want to stay addicted to video games forever, because I'm going to be mentally depressed if I don't get out there and, do something that is, like, being active, or, like, if I wanted to do something with my life, I'd probably be spending my time either trying to become a pro artist, or possibly join a bowling team if I ever wanted to do that, or read my favorite book series of, my favorite books. Like, obviously, I like the Star Wars books that, come out. And this is what I like to do. I like to get the first book of the series, read that through, and then read the other book, after I finish the first book of the series, then read the next books of the series, and then just, do something that motivates me. And I've also taken an interest in reading John Bolton's book on the room where it happened. And then I also wanted to read Trump, an American Traitor. That looks interesting because look at what the U.S. president's doing right now. He's actually refusing to believe that the coronavirus is out there and, lying to Americans about, a lot of stuff. And that's what got me motivated to actually read, books on the president. Like those people in the White House that monitor the behavior patterns of how President Trump acts and what President Trump does and that stuff. This is what motivates me to read about President Trump. And I haven't gotten past a lot of John Bolton's book on the room where it happened. And it is talked about, getting out of the Iran deal so far, from what I've read. And somewhere further in the book, I think John Bolton would probably experience how psycho the president is and, how messed up in the head he is and that stuff. I was hoping that's what I'd be reading about. But the bottom line is, I found something that motivates me than sitting in front of the television playing video games and that stuff. And I'm not going to attack Joe Rogan on video games, wasting your time, because, well, I'm just not going to lash out at him. He's saying you need to do something with your life other than playing video games. Alright? And if you want to be a legend or leave a legacy behind of, being famous or, doing good things or, making big accomplishments in life and that stuff, then you need to get off of your couch, your gaming chair, and you need to go out there, find a hobby, go out there and do stuff with your friends socially, which is a very positive thing to do. Because if you're playing video games out there, then you've got an antisocial problem. Like, if you are a male out there, sitting there playing video games isn't going to get you a girlfriend. You could probably get a virtual girlfriend that you probably won't be able to see at all. I mean, it's fine to have virtual friends that that play games with you and that stuff, but now you have to have like some real friends that you can have good times with, and go to restaurants and eat at those places with your favorite buddy, whatever the case is, and you need to do stuff that actively motivates you. That's just the bottom line of what it means to if you have an addiction problem, you need to do something about it. And what I've just said right now, those are things to consider. You got an addiction problem, so you need to do something good. Do something that would make it a major accomplishment in life. Find a hobby that you enjoy, and put more time into that than you do playing video games. The Joe Rogan statement is true, and those people that lash out at Joe Rogan for saying that stuff, you people need to just grow up, face the fact of what he said, and, get a life. That's the bottom line right there. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, Charles Morris, and I will see you all in the next video.